What is going on YouTube? It has been a very long time since I personally spoke to you. A lot of the clips you've been watching prior to this have been clips of me actually teaching my classes in the evening here at Union Martial Arts. But today I'm back with my partner James. I'm going to break down what we call entry number 3 for you guys, kind of a lead up to a project that we're finally going to be releasing, which is a sequel to our empty hand entry system. It is going to be called the Empty Hand Mastery. So I'm going to show you how we use an entry, how it looks, curriculum-wise, and some variations to get the full idea of how important this is to your Filipino martial arts training. And if you guys watch the very end, I got something small for you guys to help you guys show my appreciation for helping me get this channel to 75K subscribers. Still shooting for that 100K, so if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure that you like the video as always and subscribe if you haven't already. So entry 3, we call that a vertical gunting, where my partner throws a cross. I'm going to feed this over my shoulder. I'm coming up with my right hand. I'm going to nudge his arm there, and then I'm going to come back down and either slap his eardrum, break his eyes, or just simply come back down and grab onto his wrist. At the same time, I'm going to sneak an uppercut underneath that arm, putting pressure on the elbow, or just nudging him here. Okay? Then what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to break his base by making his arm bend. I'm going to put weight in it by stepping back. This is a timing base, so I got to do this pretty quickly, but once I pull him here, I'm going to snatch the back of his head. I'm going to frame his arm over mine, creating 90 degrees. The higher his elbow is, the more difficult it is for him to lift his head back up and maintain or regain his posture. Okay, once I get here, I'm going to finish off with a secure grip, switching over to my right hand and locking him in here. Okay, so generally when we look at entries, we have the option of how we're going to defend against the punch, a series of clinch or grappling techniques while standing, and usually it would finish with a takedown. Now the takedown is separate from the entry, but specifically with entry number 3, it is the only one that doesn't have a set go-to takedown. So this is where we start to consider using a takedown of our choice. Once we establish that control, we have good posture, our position is solidified, now we can decide how we want to take them down. So I'm going to do this from the other side. And this time we're going to get to that same position and just plug in what we call the full circle throw. I've done many videos on this. I've used it in many different ways. I've done ones with just simply talking about the full circle. There are many variations, but I'm going to use the standard one that we often teach here to introduce the concept. So we go through the entire entry, break the base, set up this position. Now that his arm is floating here, I take my left hand, I underhook his elbow, replace my forearm with my palm, fingers pointing to the right. I'm pulling up, pushing down, stepping back to give him a space to fall, and down my partner goes here. Okay? And then, of course, after the takedown, we start plugging in some ground concepts. If you want to go knee on belly, technical mount, and if that's your game. If it is also something that you do, jiu-jitsu, judo, whatever it might be, submission wrestling, go crazy. Right? So that's one way that we can use the entry. We can use it as a vehicle to get to a takedown. Close the range, grapple, obtain dominant position, and then plug in a takedown, a sweep, something of that nature, right? So we're going to look at a different one. Now sometimes with the entry, we got to pick and choose what we want to use from it, because the whole entry on its own oftentimes is a lot for individuals. Now there are some people who can do it, and there are some people who can't, right? So an entry should not be based on your ability as a martial artist. You should be able to have an instructor or have a partner that can help guide you to take the pieces that are going to work for you and separate it from this is good for speed, this is good for control, this is good for power, and then you get the true essence of an entry. So in this case, we're going to kind of shortcut it a little bit. Okay, so from the vertical gunting to the uppercut, I break the base here, but then I'm going to reach over and overhook his arm, and then I'm going to figure 4 lock it here. So I'm grabbing onto my own wrist, I'm putting the weight of my shoulder, my lat, squeezing his arm here, and I'm keeping this connection nice and tight. Okay, so I'm still breaking his posture by pushing down on him and lifting his arm up, but I'm not trying to take him down just yet. Okay, so what's going to happen is he's going to fall into a figure 4 takedown. So I'm just going to reposition my partner real quick. And so from this position here, I'm going to lift him back up. I'm going to use the weight of the back of my elbow. I'm going to sink it into his elbow the same way that I did when I stepped back here on the first variation. So I'm going to turn and make him kind of play catch up with his legs, and then I'm going to drop my weight down. So I'm going to turn like this and drop down. And here I still have that grip where I can continue flowing right into the floor. This is a very common position we would use with technical mount, but we're just going to stop here for now, okay? So in that second variation, we didn't go all the way through the entry, which is, it's not wrong. So anytime we learn an entry, we learn it as whole as possible, but then we have to start to decipher it and see how we can use that to our skill set, to our preference, to our situation. And so the full entry 3 may not be for everybody, it may not be for every situation. So the last one, because even that sometimes is, a little too much as well. What if I enter and I don't want to grapple and I don't want to take them down? What if I just want to strike them back? Maybe I got to move on. Maybe I got to create space. Who knows? So we're going to go from the vertical gunting. Now when we throw this uppercut out, I'm going to step into it. I'm really going to drive this uppercut here. Okay, so you can notice I got even closer. This uppercut is driving all the way up. I want significant damage with that uppercut. Okay, so just from the other angle. We go vertical. Okay, we consume the space here. Once I hit this uppercut, I'm going to come back down and I'm going to almost swing his arm like so. So basically, I'm just going to get this out of the way. If I do that strong enough and fast enough, you'll see he loses his balance a little bit. Okay, so once I do that, I'm going to frame his arm so that he doesn't fly this way, or excuse me, I'm going to frame against his neck with my arm so he doesn't fly this way in case his base is compromised. But all I'm setting up is a cross, uppercut, cross from southpaw. Now those strikes can be whatever you want it to be. That's just one structured way that I can show you that. Okay? So in real time it would look like this. Okay? And that's where you can see a little bit more realism in the speed of what an entry can present to you. So yes, being able to do all the grappling and takedown does require a level of proficiency. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we train. Okay? So there are ways to take an entry and distinguish between fast versus complete versus curriculum versus application. And so it's important to take whatever techniques you have and put it in different situations to be able to see what works in resistance, what works in compliancy, what works both ways. And so you don't just have to be pressure, 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 because it's very difficult to learn when everything is pressure tested. Right? So you want to spend time acquiring the skill, doing entry 3 on its own. But eventually entry 3 is going to get boring or create this false confidence that you could do it to everyone, anytime, any day of the week. That's where the pressure testing is required. Okay, so Empty Hand Mastery is going to teach you guys things like that, how to put these entries together, how to decipher entries. It should be coming out late summer. But once again, guys, I want to thank you guys for supporting this channel. If you guys head to AnastacioKhalid.com and you use the code free shipping, you're going to be able to get free shipping on any gear that you want to purchase. We have black and gray Anastacio Khalid shirts. They're bi-blend, which means they're super breathable, super light, great material, great print. So if you guys want to support the channel, support Union Martial Arts and Anastacio Khalid, go ahead and grab one for yourself. But that's about it, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.